Hello everyone, welcome to the Python programming course. In the previous lecture so far we learned about strings, lists, tuples and sets. And in this lecture we are going to cover another important data structure in Python, which is dictionaries. Each of the data structure we learned so far helped us store multiple values, but they all had only one limitation. They store data in a sequence, which means we usually access elements using an index, but in real world application we don't always search for data using numbers like 0, 1 or 2. Instead we search using meaningful names like name, email, phone number, roll number, employee ID. Python provides a special data structure for this purpose called dictionary. Now let's understand why do we use dictionaries. Say I create a list and I'm going to store some values in this. First value is Rahul, then 20, Delhi and 92. If I look at 20 can have many names. It could be an age, it could be a roll number, or it could be marks. The list stores the values, but it doesn't tell us what each value means. We have to remember that index 0 is name, index 1 is age, index 2 is city and index 3 is marks. This becomes confusing, especially when the data grows. But what if I store values like this? Name, Rahul, age, 20, city, Delhi, and marks, 92. Instead of storing only values, a dictionary stores keys and values together. Every value has a meaningful label called a key. This makes the data much easier to understand. So now what is a dictionary? A dictionary is a mutable collection of data that stores information as key value pairs. A collection, a dictionary can store multiple pieces of information together. Mutable means we can add a new key value pair, or we can update existing values, or we can remove key value pairs. Now we will quickly look at the characteristics of dictionary. The very first characteristic of dictionary is it stores data as key value pairs. Which means every piece of information is associated with a key. Every piece of information is associated with key. The next characteristic is dictionaries are mutable. That means we can change values whenever needed. The third one is keys must be unique. That means we can't have two keys of same name. dictionary cannot have duplicate keys. See, we can't have duplicate keys, but values can be duplicated. Values can be duplicated. Now we will look at the syntax of dictionary. To create a dictionary, firstly we will define the name of dictionary. Say I am creating dictionary name student. Then we will write our content in these curly braces, and the curly braces we will feed our data. Say I have a key name and the value, after a colon we write Rahul. Then we have age, which is 20. Then we have city, that is Delhi. This is how we create a dictionary. The curly braces are used and each item is written in key value pair, and different pairs are separated by commas. What is the difference between a list and a dictionary? See, a list accesses elements using index, while in a dictionary we access elements using keys. In a list stores values only. It stores values, while dictionary stores key value pairs. Lists are good for sequences, while dictionaries are good for structured information. Good for structured information. So now we understood what a dictionary is and why it's useful. But creating a dictionary is the only first step. In real world programs, we often need to retrieve information, update existing values, add new data and remove unwanted entries. In the next part, we will learn how to access and modify dictionaries using keys, along with methods like get, pop item, delete and clear. In the previous part, we learned what dictionaries are, why they are used, and how they store information as key value pairs. But simply storing data isn't enough. Imagine you are building a student management system. You should be able to find a student marks, update their age, add a phone number, delete old information. In this session, we will learn how to perform all these operations on dictionaries. Firstly, we will learn how to access the values from a dictionary. Since dictionaries don't use indexes, we access data using keys. Say I have a dictionary named student, and in this dictionary I am storing the following values. I have the name of the student, I have the age of student, I am storing age 20, and then I am storing city. So this is my dictionary. Now if I want to access any element of the dictionary, I will use the key name. Say if I write student, in the square brackets I write name. So this will give me Rahul as output. The key acts like an address. Python searches for that key and returns the associated value. Now say if I write student and in this brackets I write phone. Now phone key doesn't exist, so this will give me an error. The another method to access the values is get method. We can also write student.get, and in the parenthesis I will write my key name which I want to access, that is, say I write name, so this will give me Rahul. But if I write a key which doesn't exist, so in the case of get method we get no error. This is the primary difference between square brackets and using square brackets and get method for accessing keys. Now, what is the difference between the square brackets and the get key? When to use square brackets and when to use get? See, both of them give values. Square brackets will give error if key missing, while the get method gives no error. Now how can we add new data to an existing dictionary? Say I have this dictionary and I want to add a phone number. So for that, what will I do? I will simply write student phone and I will fill the value in this, any value which I want to fill. This will automatically create a new key value pair. We can also update new existing key value pairs. Say I want to change the age, then what will I do? I will write student age and I will simply update the value like this. Now the next topic is how do we remove data? For removing data, Python provides us different dictionary methods. The very first method which we are going to cover is the pop method. Pop removes the specified key and returns its values. Removes the specified key and returns its value. After pop, we have pop item. Pop item. This method removes the last inserted key value pair. After that we have delete method. Delete method permanently deletes the specified key value pair. Permanently deletes the specified key value pair. And lastly we have clear method. The clear method removes every key value pair, leaving an empty dictionary. Removes every key value pair and leaves an empty dictionary. So now we know how to create, exit, update and delete data in a dictionary. In the next part, we will explore useful dictionary methods such as key, values, items, update, copy, site default and form keys. In the previous part, we learned how to create dictionaries, access values, update them, and remove data. But Python provides many built-in methods that make working with dictionaries much easier. Instead of writing long pieces of code, we can simply call these methods to perform common tasks. Today, we will learn about these methods. The very first dictionary method which we have is keys. The keys method returns all the keys present in the dictionary. The next method which we have is values. The values method returns all the values stored in the dictionary. After values, we have items method. The items method returns both keys and values together as pairs. Returns both keys and values as pairs. After that, we have update method. Update method adds a new key value pairs or update existing ones. After update, we have copy method. The copy method creates another dictionary with same data. Creates another dictionary with same data. After copy, we have set default method. The set default method returns the value of a key, and if the key doesn't exist, it creates the key with a default value. It returns the value of a key if key does not exist, then it creates the key with default value. Creates the key with default value. After this, we have from keys. From keys creates a new dictionary using a list of keys and assigns the same value to each key. It creates a new dictionary using a list of keys. and assigns same value to each key. After that, we have length method. The length method returns the number of key value pairs. Then we have the membership operators. Which are in and not in. So we know most importantly known dictionary methods. However, dictionaries become truly powerful when we combine them with loops. In real world application, we often need to process every key, every value and every key value pair automatically. For that, we will use loops in the next section. Now that we know how to create dictionaries and access elements using values, let's think about a real world situation. Imagine you are developing a software for school. One student's information is stored in a dictionary. That's easy to manage. But what if 1,000 students' information is stored? Or 1,000,000 users are on a website? Are you going to write code like this? Print student name, print student age. This works only for a small dictionary. But imagine if the dictionary had 50 keys. Writing one print statement for every key would waste a lot of time. Instead, Python gives us loops. A loop automatically visits every element one by one. Just like a teacher checking attendance student by student, a loop checks every item in the dictionary one after another. So what happens inside the loop? Say, I have a dictionary. Firstly, the loop will start. After loop starts, it goes to item number 1. Then it goes to item number 2, then 3, and so on, and at last the loop ends. A loop never accesses everything at once. It goes from one item to other. Every time it moves to the next item, we call it an iteration. So if a dictionary has 4 items, the loop performs 4 iterations. Now in dictionaries, firstly we have looping through keys. Say I have a dictionary which has name Rahul, age 20, city Delhi, and marks 92. The first thing to remember in this, when we write a simple for loop on dictionary, Python automatically returns the keys, not the values. This is one of the biggest beginner mistakes. Many students think Python will return the values first, but that's incorrect. By default, Python always starts with key. If I want to draw the flowchart of this, firstly we will have dictionary. Then the loop will give me name, then age, then city, then marks. Notice something, Rahul is not printed, Delhi is not printed, only the labels are returned. But what if I want to print values also? For that, we will see looping through values. Sometimes we won't care about the labels, we only need the actual stored information. For example, suppose you want to display every student marks. The subject name doesn't matter. You only want the marks. In such situations, we loop through the values. And after looping through values, so this looping through values will return me, I have a dictionary. Firstly it will return me Rahul, then 20, then Delhi, and at last 92. We can also access keys and values together. looping through keys and values together. Many times we need both pieces of information. Imagine getting a report card. If I only print 95, does anyone would know which subject belongs to? No. We also need to print the subject name. We want to print information something like this. Maths 95, English 98, Science 90. Math is the key, 95 is the value. We need both. That's why Python provides a way to loop through both the key and value together. In this, what happens? Firstly, we will have the dictionary. Then it goes to the key. And then to the value of that key. After printing key and value pair, it moves to next key. It prints the next value. And then it ends. During every iteration, Python gives us two things. First the key, second the corresponding value. Then the loops moves to the next part. Now we have understood how loops work with dictionaries. The next step is learning how dictionaries can store even more complex data. Instead of storing just one student's information, what if we want to store an entire classroom? That's where nested dictionaries come into the picture. Now we have learned how to store information about one object using a dictionary. For example, one dictionary can store information about one student. But let me ask you a question. Imagine you are developing software for schools having 2000 students. Will you create 2000 different dictionaries? Definitely not. There has to be a better and more organized way. Python gives us exactly the solution through nested dictionaries. What is a nested dictionary? A nested dictionary is a dictionary that contains one or more dictionaries as its values. Nested simply means one thing inside the another. For example, a box inside another box, a folder inside another folder. Similarly, a dictionary stored inside another dictionary is called a nested dictionary. It looks something like this. Say, I have a school, and in the school records, I have student 101 and student 102. 101 and student 102. In student 101, I am storing his name, age, marks, city. The similar information I am going to store in student 2. Name, age, marks and city. The outer dictionary stores all the students and each student is itself another dictionary. This makes the data organized and easy to manage. Let me take a simple example. In a school, if I go to student 101, name which is Rahul, age which is 20 and marks 92. Then I have student 102 who has name Aman, age 21 and marks 88. Notice something interesting. The outer dictionary has keys 101 and 102. Instead of storing numbers or strings, these keys store another dictionary. That inner dictionary contains complete information about the student. If the school here is the outer dictionary and this 101 and 102 are the keys of outer dictionary, whereas This is the value, and this is also the value of outer dictionary, which itself is another dictionary. So now we have learned how nested dictionaries works. We will now move to the next topic, which is dictionary inside list and list inside dictionary. Dictionary inside list and list inside dictionary. So far we have learned about normal dictionaries and nested dictionaries, but in real world application we often combine different data structures. Sometimes we store multiple dictionaries inside a list, and sometimes we store a list inside a dictionary. At first these two concepts may sound similar, but they are used for completely different purposes. For the first part, we have dictionary inside list. That means dictionary inside a list means each element of the list is a complete dictionary. Think about a classroom. A classroom has many students. Every student has their own information, their name, age and marks. Each student's information is a dictionary. Since there are many students, we store all these dictionaries inside one list. Say I have a student list. This is my list, and in this list I am going to store student 1, student 2, student 3, which are dictionaries, and in this dictionary I have their name, age and marks. Now the outer structure is a list, and the list stores multiple students, and every student is represented as a dictionary. Then we will move to part 2, which is list inside a dictionary. Which means one key stores multiple values, in form of list. Now imagine a single student. One student can only study many subjects. Instead of creating separate keys like subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, we store all subjects inside one list. Say I have a student which is a dictionary, and in the dictionary I have name, I have age, and I have subjects. Now this subjects is a list, and in this list I have values Python, SQL, machine learning, etc. Now here the outer structure is a dictionary and the inner value is list. Now we have understand how dictionaries can be combined with lists to represent complex real-world data. We have covered looping through dictionaries, nested dictionaries, dictionaries inside list and list inside dictionary. In the next and final session, we will compare list, tuple, sets and dictionaries side by side. So in the final theory part of this lecture, we will be comparing lists, tuples, sets and dictionaries. Firstly, we will look at the syntax. The syntax of list is square brackets, tuple is parenthesis, sets in curly braces and dictionary in key value pairs. Lists are ordered Tuples are ordered, sets are not ordered, and dictionaries are ordered. Lists are mutable, tuple are non-mutable, whereas set and dictionaries are mutable. Duplicate values are allowed in lists, allowed in tuples, not allowed in sets. In the case of dictionaries, duplicate keys are not allowed, but duplicate values are allowed. We have indexing in list, tuple, but not in set, and in dictionary, indexing is done by keys. Lists are best for dynamic data. Dynamic data means changing data. Tuples are best for fixed data, data which can't be changed. Sets are best for unique data, which means data contain only unique values and there are no duplicates. And dictionaries are best for structured data, which means the data is represented by a well-defined structure. Previous sessions we have completed with the theory regarding dictionaries. We understood that dictionaries store data as key value pairs and we are used to whenever we need meaningful labels for our data. Now it's time to implement these concepts in Python. Firstly, I will create my dictionary. So we will give our dictionary a name called student. Then in these curly braces we will define our key value pairs. So my first key is name and its value is Rahul. Similarly, we will create another key value pairs, age, then semicolon, then 20, then comma, then we have city, which is Delhi. Now we'll run this. Now we will print our dictionary. So this is how our dictionary is printing. If I try to check the type of this student, that is which is dictionary. So the curly braces creates a dictionary. Every item has a key and a value. Keys and values are separated by colon. Each key value pair is separated by a comma. We can create dictionary with many data types. Dictionary can store strings, integers, floats, boolean values, lists, tuples, and even other dictionaries. Now, we will access the elements of dictionary using keys. Say I want to print Rahul. For that, what will I do? I will write print student and in the square brackets I will write the key name which is name. So it will give me the value. Similarly, we can also print age. Age. Unlike list, dictionary don't use indexes. We access values using keys. There is another method by which we can access values, that is using get method. If I write print student dot get name, so it will give me, for that we will have to define them. So the name was in smaller alphabets. So it give me the, and if I say print student dot get city, so it will give me Delhi. Say I write print. Now, why do we use get instead of this previous method? Say I write student and in the parent square brackets
I will define a key which doesn't exist in the dictionary. Say I write phone. So this will give me an error that phone doesn't exist. But if I use get method instead of this student.get and I write phone, so this will return none. The get in case of a key which doesn't exist in a dictionary, get method doesn't give an error, while this previous method gives us an error. That's why we use get method instead of this method when we are dealing with large number of data. Now we see that we don't have a phone. Now let's try to add this phone key into this student dictionary. For that, what we will do, I will write student, I will define my key and I will give it a value. Say this is the value that I want to store in this. And now if I try to print a dictionary, then you can see we have another key value pair added, which is phone number. We can also update an existing dictionary. Say I want to change age from 20 to 21. For that, I will write student age and I will assign it a new value. Now, if I try to print this student dictionary, this will give me now the value is updated. This is how we update a value in a dictionary. In the next program, we will try to print the length of this dictionary. If I write print, we will use the length method, print the length, which is 4. Why 4? Because we have 4 key value pairs in the dictionary. In the previous practical session, we learned how to create dictionaries, access values, and add new data, and update existing values. Now we will learn most commonly used dictionary methods. These methods make our code shorter, cleaner, and much more efficient. So I will be using this student dictionary. So the very first method that we have is keys method. Keys method returns all the keys in the dictionary. It returns a special object called dict keys. To use key method, we write print, then the name of dictionary, and dot keys. Shift plus enter. So this returns me name, age, and city, which are our keys. If you want these in a list format, see it returns ticked keys. But if I want keys in a list format, I will write list student dot keys. So this will return keys in list format. Similar to keys, we have values method. Values method returns only values. For that, we will write the dictionary name dot values. And if I print this, it gives me dict values, which are Rahul, 20, and Delhi. Similarly, if I want these values in a list, I will simply write list before student dot values. Now this will return me values in a list format. The very next method is used to print all the items, means all the key value pairs of a dictionary. For that, we will write print student dot items. And if I run this, it gives me key value pairs. Similarly, if I want it in a list format, I will simply write list beforehand. Then I will write student dot items. So this will return all the key value pairs in a list format. After that, we have update method. Update method can add a new key value pair to our existing dictionary. For example, in this dictionary, I don't have a phone number. And if I want to add a phone number, I can simply write student dot update. And in the curly braces, I will write my key value pair. Say, I want to add a phone number. So I will write phone number. This is my key. And in value, I will write a random number. And now if I run this code, and next I try to print my dictionary, here you can see we have updated dictionary with phone number and phone number key in this. So an update function is simply used to add a new key value pair. We can also use update function to change an existing key value pair. For example, I want to update the age from 20 to 21. For that, I will simply write age, and in the value section, I will write the updated value, which is 21. And if I run this code and try to print my dictionary, which is student, then you can see the age is updated to 21. After update, we have copy method. So the copy method is used to create another dictionary, which is the copy of our original dictionary. Say I have a dictionary, I have this student's dictionary. And now if I write student 2, I want to create another dictionary called student 2, which is the copy of our original dictionary student. For that, I will write student dot copy. Now, the student to dictionary contains the same values present in student dictionary. If I try to print this student to dictionary, you will see that the values of student are exactly same as student to dictionary, which we created as a copy. Now, these two dictionaries are independent of each other. When I say independent, that means if I make changes to one dictionary, that will be totally exclusive from another dictionary. Say, I want to update this age in student dictionary to 21. So I will simply write this update function student.updates. Now, if I print student 1 and student 2 simultaneously, you will see that the changes are only made in student dictionary. So if I made a change, if I have original dictionary, I make a copy, another dictionary which is a copy of my original dictionary, and if I try to change something in my original dictionary or my copy, then the changes are exclusive to each other. Changes in one dictionary doesn't change the items in another dictionary. They both are independent of each other. After after update, we have set default. Say I have a new dictionary, student 3, in which I will store a value name Rahul. Now I want to add another key value pair. For that, what will I do? If key doesn't exist, it is created using set default method. Say I write student 3 dot set default city, which is Delhi. Here we should not use colon, we use comma. And if I try to print student 3, you will see that on this as a city. But what if I write set default method only makes changes when the key doesn't exist? We can't use it to update existing keys. Say, I try to update my name key and I try to change the name from Rahul to Aman. Then you will see our original dictionary still has name Rahul. So the set default method only works when the key doesn't exist. If we have an existing key in the dictionary and I try to change that the value of that key, that will not happen. After that, we have from keys method. Say I have a list of subjects. I have a list of subjects, which is Python. Then I have SQL. Then I have Power BI. So this is my list of subjects. And if I write marks equals to dict dot from keys subjects, comma 0. So what will it do? It will take the elements in subjects list as keys and will assign them values 0. If I try to print marks, so you will see marks is nothing but a dictionary with keys as subjects and value as 0, which we assign to it in this circular braces. After that, we have pop method. I will be using the student dictionary again. Pop method removes the specified key and returns its values. For example, I say remove equals to student.pop city and I print removed. So it will give me the Delhi, the city which we removed. After that, we have pop item method. So what pop item methods do? Pop item method removes and returns the last inserted key value pair. Say right item is equals to student dot pop item and I print item. So you will see it returned me city, comma Delhi, which is our last entered key value pair. And at last we have clear method. Clear method removes all the contents of the dictionary and we are left with the empty dictionary. If I write student dot clear, so it will return me a dictionary which is with no contents. It returns an empty dictionary. So now we have learned the most important dictionary methods including keys, values, items, update, copy, set default, from keys, pop item and clear. In the next upcoming session, what we are going to do, we will be learning looping through dictionaries. In the previous section, we learned the different dictionary methods like keys, values, and items. Now we are going to use these methods inside loops. Imagine you have information about 5 students. Printing each student's information manually is possible. But what if you have 5,000 students? That's where loops become extremely useful. Let's start with the simplest type of loops. Firstly, we will create a dictionary. I have a student dictionary. Now I'm going to transfer this particular dictionary using for loop. So I will write for key in student print. So this will determine all the keys stored in the dictionary. For key in student, automatically loops through all the keys. During each iteration, one key is stored in the variable key. Since there are three keys, the loop runs three times. Now, what if I want to print keys as well as their values? For that, we will write for key in student print key, comma, student key. This will print key value pairs. The loop gives the key, the student key fetches the corresponding value. Now we are going to use loops with different dictionary methods. Firstly, we will use loop with, with keys method. For this, for example, I write for key in student.keys, print key. This statement will also give me the key stored in the dictionary. Similarly, if I want the values, I can use values method. For that, I will write for value in student.values, print value. This give me the this will give me the values. Now, if I want to loop through key value pairs, for that we will use student.items for I in student.items. Print actually it's I comma j key comma print I comma this comma j. This will give me key value pairs. Item returns both the key and the value together. Now we are going to create a nested dictionary. For example, I have a students. I will name these students. My first key is 101. And in this key, I'm going to create another dictionary. In that, I'm going to store values, name, Rahul, age, that is 20, and marks, 90. After this, so this is my one internal dictionary. After that, I'm going to create another dictionary 102. I will just copy paste this dictionary. And I'm just going to change the values. So I'm writing Aman, age is 21, and marks are 88. So this is how we create the nested dictionary. The outer dictionary stores the student IDs and each student ID contains another dictionary. Now, how do we access this nested dictionary data? For that, say I want to fetch this 101 data. For that, I will write print, firstly the name of outer dictionary. After that, which key of outer dictionary I want to fetch. I want to fetch the data of 101. And in 101 dictionary, I'm saying, tell me the name. So this will print Rahul. Firstly, we go into the outer dictionary. In outer dictionary, then we go into the key 101. And in key 101, fetch me the value having key name, which is Rahul. Similarly, if I want to fetch this 88 marks of common, I will write print students, the key which is 102, and then marks. That gives me 88. Now, how do we use loops with nested dictionary? Say I have this dictionary and I'm going to use loops in this. For that, for example, I write for roll number, comma details in students dot items. For this, print roll number, which is our roll number. After that, I'm going to run an inner loop to print the inner dictionary, which will be for key, comma, value in details. So when I'm writing this roll number, comma, details, by roll number, I mean this 101 and 102, and by details, I mean this internal dictionary. And now this second loop is running in internal dictionary. Details dot items print key, then value. So this will print me the contents of both internal dictionaries. What will I do? I will also print this line so that we can get separate values. So this is my first dictionary with rule number 101. Then this is our second internal dictionary with rule number 102. The outer loop goes through each student and the inner loop goes through each student's details. Now, in this session, we learned how to loop through dictionaries using keys, values, and items. We also learned how to create and access nested dictionaries. In the next and final session, we will combine everything to build larger real-world projects. Section, we are going to make two very small projects using dictionaries. The first one is called Search by Student Roll Number. So what we are going to do, I have this date of 3 students here. I will in this project we will take rule number input from user, and if the rule number exists, we will fetch the data of that particular student. So firstly, we will take a rule number as input equals to int input enter roll number. After that, if roll number in students, then print we will print student found. We will print the name of student, print name, comma student, comma student, role, and then name. After that, in the similar way, we will print student marks. We will print marks and marks. Else, print student not found. Now we will run this. Firstly, we will write a roll number which says 102. It prints student found. Says there's an error. And the error here is okay. We have to write students here. Hopefully this will work now. So it says student found and it gives me data of the particular student. Say I write a roll number which is not included in the particular dictionary. Say I write 105, then it gives student not found. The second problem is called employee salary system. So this says if an employee is earning more than 50,000, then give me the date of the particular employee. Firstly, for that, we will print employees earning more than 50,000. So employees earning more than 50,000 for employee ID, comma details in employees.items. If details salary is greater than 50,000, then print the data, which is details name details salary. See, Karan and Neha are earning more than 50,000, so it prints Karan and Neha with their respective salaries. So now dictionaries are one. We know dictionaries are one of the most powerful data structures which we have covered in this lecture 7 of Python programming course. In the next lecture, we will start one of the most important topics in Python, which is functions.